Hey guys, how are you today? Happy Friday. So I'm coming on and wanted to do a Q&A with you guys. Hey guys that are hopping in. How are you? Happy Friday. And kind of to just give you guys an update on what I've been doing and check in with you guys. So George says, how do you tolerate those winners? Man, George, I'm telling you, I am looking to move Michigan soon. For those that have been following me for a while, you know Florida has been on my heart for the longest. And this year, I think we're actually going to be able to make the move. Before, I have two children that is my daughter is going to be 14 in a few weeks. She'll be turning 14, and my son is 9, and they have a wonderful father. And of course, me moving was not an option for him. He's like, no. No. So I was kind of forced to stay here for a while, because obviously he's a really great dad, so he wanted to still have his parenting time. But now that the kids are getting a little bit older, I think I'm just about convinced him that it's time for us to go. And just for the simple fact that, we can always, come back to Michigan once a month, and then during the summer, definitely during hurricane season, okay? Because I'm not about that life with the hurricanes. So shout out to all you guys in Florida who professionally put up with that, but I probably would be back in Michigan during the hurricane season, and then we'll go back to Florida when school start back up. And yeah, I'm ready for a change. I'm ready to move. I was telling my son the other day, I was like, we could be outside playing tennis right now, we could be at the skating park, and I'm like, don't you want to move to Florida? Like, don't you want to move? Hey Elizabeth, hey Cedric. So what's up with you guys? What questions do you have? I've been seeing a lot of questions in the various tax and accounting Facebook groups. So you guys can ask me, anything like tax law questions, marketing, bookkeeping, whatever is on your mind right now. Are you guys still doing your marketing? Let's start right there. Have you been doing your marketing consistently? Especially those of you that joined my 100K and 100 day challenge, or was it 100K and 30-day challenge? If you joined that, type in the chat, have you been consistent with your marketing strategies? Have you been consistent? So let's see. Omni Financial Services says, are you still taking on mentees? Absolutely. So my program, Tax and Accounting 6-Figure Accelerator, that's the main program where that I have our coaching calls every week. And then we have deep dive trainings once a month. And it comes with the complete program, right? So for example, every Monday we have what's called our Biz Bestie call, right? Where you can come in, you can ask a question if you want, but really this call is to just vent, right? Because sometimes when you're on the road of like building your business and growing and scaling, it's tough, right? It is tough. So, Mondays at 9 a.m., people come on, they ask their questions, but most importantly, like, it's a safe space for people to vent, right? To say, hey, I'm frustrated with this. I'm doing my marketing. This is not working the way that I want it to work or whatever. And we're able to actually help you troubleshoot. And then on Wednesdays, we have our solutions call. So this is like, you come in and you're like, hey, I got this client. They owe $3,000 and I don't know why. Right? And you can actually come on and we can review your tax return. We can look at it. The Wednesdays call is really focused on you having like very specific client problems, and you're coming on there and you're saying, hey, this is the problem that I'm having, I need some support, or I need somebody to review it, I need somebody to give me feedback, or here's this client situation and I don't know how to go about it, that's the Wednesday call, right? So you get these twice a week calls. So absolutely, I love the community, and then we have a great Facebook group. One of the things, hey guys that are hopping in, one of the clients reached out to me, excuse me, and she said, hey, Krista, she actually did a video. She said, hey, I've been doing these marketing. I've been having my VA help me with this marketing, but I'm just not getting the results that, I'm looking for. I'm not getting the results. And so I was like, you know what? I already spotted some opportunities when she showed me the video, or when she recorded the video. I was like, let's hop on a quick call. So I sent her my 15-minute chat. And then she was explaining to me again, what marketing she was doing, how she was doing it, the VA, what they were doing. And immediately what I found was that the VA that she had working was not doing the marketing strategies like I teach it, right? I teach it in a very specific way that builds up know, like, and trust, right? That builds up credibility, that feels personalized, right? And so when I was telling her this, I said, hey, he's not doing it the way that it's supposed to be done, which is why you're not getting the results. And then I showed her, I was like, hey, let's do it this way. And I want you today to, I think I gave her a goal, at least 25. I said, I want you to go back, reach out to 25 people with this way, right? This is the way that I want you to reach out. And then let me know what that looks like by Monday. But the thing that I want to tell you guys is that, in marketing, I know it's tough, right? One, it's tough because it's uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable to reach out to people that you don't know. It's uncomfortable to talk to people on the phone that you don't know. It's even uncomfortable to talk to. Sorry guys, my phone is about to die. Let me plug it up. There we go. It's uncomfortable to talk to people who you do know, right? Like friends and family. Like, that's uncomfortable, let alone talking to complete strangers online. So I get it. And I think when I was looking back just a few moments ago, I remember being like that, like being scared to death, like to do marketing, right? Being an introvert, being, afraid. But there comes a point in your life and in your business where you not getting the results that you want is more painful than being uncomfortable with people. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's going to come a time in your life where you're like, I am sick and tired of being sick and tired. I am fed up. I am up to here, right? When that time comes, that's when you start to push the envelope on just stepping into the person that you need to become, right? And that's really what it's about. It's like, yeah, this stuff is not comfortable, right? If it was comfortable to get on a live video and to express yourself and to communicate a message, everybody would be doing it, right? But everybody is not doing it. And what you want to learn is, how can I just take one day at a time, do what I can with what I have every single day? And then I love the fact that my client reached out to me, because first of all, there's a lot of people, I'm sure, I won't say a lot, but I'm pretty sure there's probably a dozen or more people that haven't reached out, right? Like, I don't offer to just hop on 15-minute calls one-on-one with people, but I always tell people, I was like, listen, we got weekly support Mondays and Wednesdays. We got a Facebook group. We got a dedicated coach that's answering your questions. I tell people, don't suffer in silence. So the fact that she actually reached out and she said, hey, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Can you give me some feedback? Like, that's the first step, right? And I think a lot of people are even afraid to do that. Like, they're afraid to get feedback. They're afraid to get extra support. But that's why you're here. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't be afraid to be like, hey, I'm trying it. And the battery is, that's weird. But don't be afraid to reach out and get support and actually show and prove, to say, hey, I've been doing this to get this result and it hasn't worked. And now I was able to quickly see, well, this is why it's not working, because you're not actually following the strategy that we actually teach you guys. You need to be personalized, right? You need to be building up know, like, and trust. You need to make it specific to the person that you're talking to, right? So it's uncomfortable at the end of the day, guys. It's uncomfortable. The other thing that I've been noticing in marketing is that a lot of people are not tracking their data. They're not tracking their numbers. You know what I'm saying? So if anybody comes to me and they're like, hey, I feel like my marketing is not working, I'm like, okay, great. Well, how many people are you friend requesting per day? How many people are you reaching out to? How many videos have you done? How many strategy sessions have you booked? How many people of your sphere of influence did you reach out to? How many emails have you sent? How many social media posts have you posted within the past 30 days? And I'm going through this list of activities that I tell them to do, and they're like, I feel like I sent out like 30, or I feel like I did 50 or 100. And it's like, you really have to know your numbers, especially in marketing, right? Because if we can't track it, if we can't measure it, then we can't improve, right? Because everything is just numbers at this point, guys. I'm telling you, like, everything is numbers, and you guys are in the perfect field to master marketing because you know numbers. You know your numbers. So I have yet, there's probably been maybe once or twice in my coaching career where I actually called out that list, like how many people did you reach out to? How many strategy calls have you had? And actually had somebody have that ready. Like, okay, they are doing the work. And when you do the work though, you're able to see where the inefficiency is at. So what I mean by that is when you document your process and when you're documenting and you're keeping track of your metrics, you're actually able to see where you are inefficient on. A lot of what tax and accounting pros are doing, they're waking up and they're like, holy crap, I don't have any clients. I don't know why. You know what I'm saying? And then when we go back and I actually audit their marketing strategies, it's because you haven't been reaching out. You haven't been telling people how you can help them save on taxes, right? You haven't been doing your live video. You haven't been posting consistently, right? You haven't been sending out your emails. You haven't been following up. So it's always a reason why you aren't getting the results that you are looking for. And it's normally an easy fix, right? One of my coaches, I absolutely love her. She's one of my first sales coaches. Her name was Laura Wright. And she said sales is like a personal responsibility. She said, if you're at $1 or if you're at $1 million, you have complete control over how much money you are making right now. And it's such an empowering motive. When she first said it to me, like, Krista, you have complete control over how much money you can make right now. It was like, I have control. Like I literally, it was like nobody had ever told me that. Nobody told me that I had complete control. We think a lot of stuff is out of our control. But going back to the numbers, right? Going back to the basics, we know that if we talk to 5 people, we know that we're going to close 1 in 5 of them. So we know we have a 20% conversion rate. So we know if we want to make a certain amount of money, if we want to lock in at least, 1 client a week, we need to be talking to at least 5 business owners every single week. Now, when we look at our 30-day period and we look at our data, we can now audit ourselves to say, hey, how many strategy sessions did we have for the month of January, right? How many people did we reach out to for the month of January? Of those people that we reached out to, how many people actually accepted our friend request, right? Of those people that we actually sent out a message to, how many of them were we able to get on the phone? How much money did we collect, right? So the money that you guys are making right now is a lagging indicator, right? So you need to make sure that if you want to have a successful April, you need to be putting in the work today, okay? Your April 2022 is all going to be predicated on what you've been doing February 2022, okay? If you want to have a banger June and July, you got to start putting in the work now, right? You got to start thinking about, well, what services, what products, what packages can I deliver come June and July when you know that the dip is going to come. You know that right now you guys should be on the upswing, right? You know that people should be coming to you left and right now. And if they're not, it's only because it's a lagging indicator on the things that you did not do in December and in October, right? In November of last year. So whatever you're experiencing right now is just a lagging indicator of your actions back then. So I can guarantee you, if you're like, hey, Krista, I'm struggling right now, I can go back and I can do an audit. Well, what were you doing December 2020? 2021, right? What were you doing January 2022? What were the activities that you were doing November 2021? And I can, in all the instances, when I go back and I audit people's stats and their behaviors and their marketing and their sales, it was always a flat line, right? So it's always just a lagging indicator. Your money today was predicated on the actions that you were doing 3, 60, 90 days ago. So now that we know that, it's like, okay, let's make sure we have a banger April 15th, right? Let's make sure we crush April 15th by doing our marketing today and doing it the way that I teach you guys. You cannot just be sliding in people's DMs with a canned message like, hey, I can help you do your taxes, or hey, I'm offering a free vacation. Like, no, everybody is doing that. No, we have to do it strategically now, right? We have to do it at a high capacity. We have to follow up. We have to be consistent with it. So I want you guys to make sure that you go back to your training. Make sure you go back to module. We rearranged the course, so it's not module 6 no more. But make sure you go back to your training and you look at that module where it says hunting strategies, right? With Facebook, hunting strategies with Instagram. And make sure you're deploying the strategies the way that I specifically teach it. Because if you don't do it that way, like I said, and you do it another way, that's not personalized, that's not the way that I'm teaching you, you're not going to get the result, right? So you just got to make sure that you're following the blueprint. Now, when you follow the blueprint and you start compiling your data, now we can go back and we can see where we need to optimize, where we need to improve, right? So one of my students, he was like, hey, yeah, I'm getting strategy sessions, right? He was getting strategy sessions, but wasn't closing no clients. And I said, did you go through module 3 strategy sessions? And are you holding your strategy sessions like I teach you? He's like, yeah, I think I am. Yeah, I went through the modules, I learned, but I'm not closing any clients. And after looking at the data, I had to tell him, I was like, you know what? You're just not good at strategy sessions, right? You're just not good at it. You're just not good at talking on the phone and closing the deal. I said, let's look at an opportunity where we can get someone to hold your strategy sessions for you to test it out to see if we get any results. Because he didn't have a strategy session problem, right? He was doing the marketing, or he actually paid somebody to do the marketing. They was doing it the way that I needed them to do it, right? The way that I teach it. He was booking calls, right? People were booking calls for taxes, for bookkeeping, for accounting. They were booking calls because they needed some tax and accounting services. But when he got on the phone call with them, he could not close the deal. And that's another muscle, right? I tell you guys all the time, like, I bombed my first 30 calls. My first 30, 40, 50 calls, I bombed. So I told him, I was like, this is a muscle that you have to get used to. It's a personality adjustment as well that you have to get used to, right? It's so ingrained in me now that sometimes I can't have a regular conversation with people out in the street because I'm so tuned in to how I need to be structuring my conversations to ascertain facts from people. You know what I'm saying? So in his situation, we're like, hey, you're either going to practice this, you're going to record your calls, send them to me so that I can actually listen in to hear where are you dropping the ball at, because at some point he's dropping the ball within the conversation. And when I did this with students in the past, for example, it was another student last year that was like, hey, I'm doing the marketing, I'm getting strategy sessions, I'm getting on the phone with people, but nobody's signing up. And I'm like, okay, well, there's something wrong with your call or how you're handling your calls. When she started recording them, she sent them to me, and I immediately found out what she was doing wrong. On the one call, she completely let the person take control of the call. Completely. The prospect was like, yeah, tell me what you do, or yeah, tell me, how you're going to help us, right? And if you guys are my client, we don't work like that, right? And so there's a very specific way that we have to run our strategy sessions. Your clients need to know that you are in control, that you are on this phone call to see if it's going to be a good fit to work together, not for them to ask you what entity election that they should be in, for 2022, not for you to talk about their, back tax issues that they need help on, and they're asking you specific questions like, should I do an offer and compromise, or how do I reduce my tax debt? Like, they pay you for your expertise, right? They pay you for your intellectual property because you are a professional. These calls are just to see if it's a good fit and for you to make the offer. So I had another client. She says, hey, I'm doing this marketing. I'm getting calls, Krista, but I'm not closing them. And I'm like, okay, let's go through. I audited her calls. What I found was she was not making the offer. She was starting the calls off great. She was asking all the right questions like I taught in the program, right? She was taking good notes. She was engaging on the conversation. And then towards the end of the call, she would just let the client off the hook to say, okay, well, if you think you might want to sign up with me, if you think you might want to get services, let me know, right? I'm like, no. I said a strategy session, this is what I told her. I said, listen, a strategy session is not a strategy session unless you made an offer, right? Who here knows what an offer is? Put it in the chat. You're not having a productive call if by the end of the call you are not telling people how you can help them and the investment, right? So she was running her calls beautifully, but then towards the end of the call she was not telling them, here's how I can help you and here's the investment. Do you want to get started? Right? And she admitted, she's like, I feel uncomfortable asking for money. And this was not she was not the only person that felt this way, right? And this is what I mean. Like, when you guys can be transparent and open and honest about your feelings and your emotions and what you're going through when you're going through these processes, she wasn't the only one. Other people was like, I feel the same way. I hate asking for the money, or I hate telling my price, or I feel like it's like when they get to the pricing point, it's like everything just clams up, right? So we had to work through some mindset things, right? We had to work through some value, like quantifying value pieces for her to actually see that the prices that she is offering, there's a clear channel to value for the client, right? And so once she was able to internalize that the services that I'm giving these people are helping them, not just by doing a 1040 return, right? Not just by completing their QuickBooks file. You have to quantify the value to the client. What does it mean for them to have their taxes properly, accurately, professionally prepared? How much more money are they saving and making, right? Not only now, but in the future. So when she was able to really look at it and have that mind shift that this is a value added service, now she felt empowered to say, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Business Client, the investment for us to work together is going to be $1,500 per month. Or the investment for us to do your taxes is going to be $1,500, right? Now she felt empowered because, one, she could clearly tie how her service was actually helping them, and she could clearly communicate that value to the tax or bookkeeping client, right? But it was game changer because had she not stepped up and said, hey, I feel uncomfortable stating a price, or hey, I'm not even closing my sales calls, what's wrong? And I was able to diagnose it, she would still be on the struggle bus, right? And I don't want you guys on the struggle bus, right? Nobody comes into this perfect. I didn't do it perfect. I didn't close every client, right? But I learned through trial and error, right? I learned through talking to people. I learned through making an offer. I have literally had well over 2,000 calls at this point, just within the past 24 months, 2,000 plus calls, right? And so I know, and it's a muscle that you guys are going to get used to. It's a muscle that you're going to continue to build up, right? I think I went on a rant with that one, huh, y'all? Because I see a lot of questions popped up in the chat. All right, so the Vivid says, still trying to study for the exam with work and everything. Yes, it's definitely tough. You said, I have not marketed. I don't know where to start. You know what? I would start with your sphere of influence. You know what I'm saying? Like, start with the people that you already know and rock out from there, right? I tell people all the time, like, your first, 50 tax clients should come from people you already know, Your first 5 bookkeeping clients should come from people you already know and them sending you a referral, right, to a business owner. And really, that's what marketing is all about, guys. Like, the stuff that I teach is timeless. It doesn't matter if Facebook is here, if Instagram is here, if Google, like, all of this social media stuff can be wiped out. But if you know how to talk to people, if you know how to find them, if you know how to communicate value, you're always going to be good on your marketing pieces, right? So getting clients is just about how many times did I make an offer for somebody to become a client. I was telling my group last month on our coaching call, I said, my coach, he made like, I don't know, it's like $7 million last year, right? When he told me the activities that he did, I said, oh, that makes sense, because I didn't do half the stuff he did last year. You know what I'm saying? I didn't do half the emails that he sent out. I didn't do half of the marketing and paid, both paid and organic traffic, right? And so when you look at and you compare what you're doing versus someone else, it's really how many opportunities are you giving yourself to make money. An opportunity to make money is finding someone and communicating value to them and making an offer to help. That's how we make money now, right? We find a niche client, right? So if I'm in cannabis, I'm going to find cannabis owners, right? Whether they're retail or e-commerce, I'm going to learn their problem, and I'm going to say, hey, cannabis owner, I help you navigate, is it 280E, and make sure that you pay the least amount of taxes. I don't know if you're trying to pay the least amount of taxes, cannabis owner, and stay out of federal prison, but if you are, I would love to hop on a quick phone call with you, right? Give yourself an opportunity to make money today. All that opportunity is finding somebody and letting them know how you can help, letting them know what problems you solve, letting them know what big desires you can help them fulfill. That's an opportunity. And you add that up. If you do that 20 times a day, give yourself an opportunity to make money by finding somebody, understanding their problem, and making an offer to solve it. That is an opportunity to make money. You do that 20 times a day, 5 days a week, right? 5, 10, 15, 20. So that's 20 days out of the month. That's 20 times 20. That's 400 times that you would give yourself an opportunity to make money. 400 times. Now, look at what you did in January. Did you give yourself 400 times to make money? Did you give yourself 400 opportunities to earn revenue? Because if you weren't at least communicating to at least 20 people per day how you can help them with a problem and asking them, do they need help? Then you didn't give yourself an opportunity to make money. So when I looked at my coach who made quadruple what I made last year, he had given himself thousands of opportunities last year to make revenue, to earn revenue, right? Through email, through social media, right? Through outreach, thousands of opportunities. I gave myself, I don't know, a few hundred. So now it's like, hey, it's not about you guys don't know marketing. You know marketing. Marketing is finding your ideal clients, finding out how you can help them, letting them know how you can help them, making an opportunity, coming on a live video. That's an opportunity for you to make money. Doing a story, right? A post to your stories with a specific problem, call to action. That's an opportunity, right? Texting your friends, family, people that you used to go to school with. That's an opportunity. Let them know how you can help them with their taxes, right? How you can, help them with their bookkeeping, getting cleaned up. That's an opportunity, right? Posting strategically on social media, on Facebook is another opportunity, right? Sliding in people's DMs with their strategic outreach message is an opportunity. So we need to be giving ourselves opportunities every single day. And you need to be tracking the opportunities that you are deploying every single day, right? You need to be tracking this stuff so that if there is a breakdown somewhere, we can easily identify that breakdown. Hey Karina, she said, how long should it normally take to complete the EA course, including the exams I've started and struggling with homeschooling too? Oh yeah, so we typically say 60 hours to go through and study for the EA exam. So 60 hours. So if you look at that, 60 hours might not sound like a lot, you know, some people were like, oh, I can get that done in a week, right? Or in a week and a half. But you got to look at real life. Like Karina, she's like, I got a family, I'm working, I'm building this business, and now I got to spend 60 hours to study to become an enrolled agent. Realistically, you only probably could devote between 1 and 2 hours a day, right? So if you do that, let's just say 60 divided by 2, you can realistically complete all sections of the study program plus take your exams within 30 days. And that's aggressive. That's really aggressive, right? But it's doable. That's 2 hours a day to study and to go ahead and take your exams after each section that you study for a total of 60 hours. It's just putting in those 60 hours on your calendar when you're going to give yourself an opportunity to study at the end of the day. Yeah. They did reenact the first time home buyer credit. They're talking about reenacting the first time home buyer credit, but it hasn't came down the pipeline just yet as a law. But that would be interesting if they do. Cedric says, been marketing with some live videos and have video others on Evergreen for those who watch 24/7. Awesome. Yeah, video is an asset, right? So that's the beautiful part about content in general, right? Content online are assets, you know? So you could post a video today and it's going to continue to reach more and more people. Like, look at your videos as opportunities. Every view on your video was an opportunity for you for that day. So if you did a video after this live today to talk about your niche and what they're going through and how you can help them with taxes, by the end of the week, you're probably going to have at least 100 views. Well, that was 100 opportunities that you gave yourself on autopilot to get a client. That's how you want to look at this stuff, right? These are assets that are living on your social media pages. So great work, Cedric. Hey, Alicia, she says, what are your thoughts on these 20K plus refunds? You know what? I think that's, you know, if it's legitimate and folks are, you know, qualifying for, you know, these COVID credits and all that good stuff, then absolutely, right? Like the IRS or these tax laws were put into place to stimulate certain aspects of our economy, right? So if the COVID tax law was put into place to help those that were self-employed or who were self-employed to get some of that money back that they lost during the pandemic or because of COVID, that's just the government, you know, reinforcing the economy, right? They're injecting cash through credits back into the economy, right? Which is perfectly fine. I would say look at it this way. What is the next thing your clients need, right? Because everybody's so focused on getting the credits, which is beautiful. Help people get those credits when they deserve it, right? But now you know people are getting $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 refunds. You know that the IRS did that to stimulate the economy. That cash has to go somewhere, right? The cash is going to circulate. It's just circulating back into the economy. Why not it go back to you, right? Why not that cash go back into you? So now we need to think about, well, okay, clients or people, business, self-employed people are rocking out with 15, 20K refunds over the next couple of weeks. What can I offer them right now to get that cash recirculated back to me, right? What value can I put out into the marketplace to recirculate that cash, right? So let's think about that. What value can you create right now, right? Maybe, I don't know, it could be something as small as a estimated tax package where you're like, hey, if you're self-employed, and you want to make sure you don't owe next year because we don't know what credits are going to be available for them next year like this. Now you have a self-employment package where you say, hey, we'll complete your self-employment taxes for the year. We'll set up everything. We'll run and figure the numbers for $500, right? Okay, 500 bucks. Let's just say you get 50 clients though. Well, that's an extra $25,000 that you now circulated back to you because you were able to look at how else you could provide value. I did do an estimated tax class on Certifiable. So if you don't know how to do estimated taxes, check out that class. It's like $10. You can check out that class on certifiable.com on how to actually complete estimated taxes for somebody. But that's just an example, right, guys? You could do bookkeeping packages. You know, you could teach them how to do their bookkeeping. You could do a course. I mean, like, the sky's the limit on, you can come in as a CFO for their business. You can even put them on the budget. So if you got people that's, you know, rocking out with $20,000 refunds, well, how about you have a financial planning session, a budget planning session for $500 or $750, right? How about you look at, well, what are your goals for this year? How can we make this money work for you, right? Everybody's always trying to flip money, right? So how can they flip this money into something that's actually going to benefit them in the long run, right? Like, have a session where you're looking at stocks and you're looking at maybe some real estate activities, and you're actually becoming a thought partner to your business clients. Again, we're just trying to figure out, well, how can we provide value so that we can in turn hit our goals, right? You have your own goals and dreams and desires. Now it's a give and give, right? The money that you're going to make is oftentimes equivalent to the value that you give the marketplace. So if you want to make more money, you just got to be like, okay, what other offers that I can put out to help people, right? To help people. Really great question, Alicia. Really great question. Oh, Carla says your course helped me have an 80% conversion rate in January. Let's go, Carla. Carla's been crushing it. And I frequently mention you, Carla, because I always tell people, I said, there was this one client of mine who got on my head when she joined. And I'm always referencing you, Carla, because when Carla joined my program, for the first couple of months, she was like, hey, I'm doing these marketing strategies and they not working, right? I'm not getting no clients and they not working. And she was on my head. I was like, okay, relax, no worries. Like, let's talk through this, right? Let's figure out where you need to optimize at, right? But I tell people that story because Carla actually showed up and expressed her frustration. She told me how she felt. She got support. Just imagine, Carla, if you didn't do that, if you just suffered in silence. You know what I'm saying? But because Carla was vocal, I was able to dig in there like, okay, let's figure out where we need to optimize at, right? And I figured out, okay, you know, we need to be stronger in your sales calls. We need to communicate the value this way, right? And she was able to slowly but surely, boom, and then next thing you know, she exploded. And so I tell people this story because I'm like, don't suffer in silence, right? Don't ghost me. I tell clients that. I'm like, listen, don't join my courses and my programs and then ghost me. You can't do it, right? You have to get support. Put that, it's in your settings on your phone and your iPhone. Go ahead and put that feature on there to say, hey, I only want to be on social media for 2 hours a day collectively. When you get close to your time, it's going to say, hey, your time is almost up. You got 10 more minutes on social media, right? It give you a warning message. And then as soon as you hit that time limit, it literally just shuts down your social medias for you, okay? So try putting that on there. But yes, don't suffer in silence, guys. Don't suffer in silence. So Aspiration says, how long do you think a person should be in the tax industry before trying to become an enrolled agent? You know what? I recommend to start on that as soon as possible. You know, you don't have to have like so many years or so much time in the tax industry to be an EA. Absolutely not. You can work on becoming an EA as soon as you get into the industry. And I actually think it's going to help you be more confident because you're going to know more about tax law, for various client situations, right? So I would say do it as soon as you can. We are going to be needing you for some folks this year. Timberland, how can I start with getting the first client? Okay, I'm just seeing that, but I'm sure I went a deep dive on the marketing. Oh, thank you, Tiffany. You know, it's some good old filters, darling. You know, them filters be popping on on IG. Oh man, let's see, do we have any other questions? So Universal says, should I study for the EA exam and go for my bookkeeping business or just one at a time? If you can do it simultaneously in tandem, I would say go ahead and do it. Go ahead and get bookkeeping clients, start making, honestly, I always tell people, like, start making money, right? Make some money. And then while you're making money, go for your additional credentials and licensures like an enrolled agent. Hey, Jasmine. Oh, Carla said phone died. Thank you, Carla. Jasmine says, I think all tax professionals should be at EA. I wish I knew about it year one. Absolutely. Hoping to be an EA by my birthday. Awesome. The Vivid says, why is there a break in taking the EA exam? Oh, because they have to update the content. So the IRS, you have until February 28th of this month to take the EA exam for 2020 tax law, right? Because right now they're still testing on 2020 tax law. After February 28th, they take the month of April to update what they're going to test on based upon the new tax law changes that happened in 2021, right? So all of, you know, any American Rescue Plan changes that happened in 2021, especially last March, when the government was coming out with all these changes during tax season, that's what's going to be tested from April to next February 2023, right? You're going to be getting tested on 2021 materials. So that's how you want to look at it. The IRS is just updating the content, updating the tax law content. FFA, the new law comes out March 1st, but testing is May through February. Absolutely. Yep, Jasmine, thank you. All right, guys. Yeah, just wanted to come in and, oh yeah, Vivid says you was trying to pass all three by the 28th. A lot of people are trying to do that right now. A lot of people are trying to do that. All right, guys. Well, hit me in my DM if you have any questions from this video. Anything sparked your fancy, definitely slide in my DM, ask me any questions. And if you want to work with me, go ahead and go to certifiable.com. You can find my tax and accounting 6-figure accelerator course, where you get year-long mentorship, coaching, and training, and a step-by-step process on how to do your marketing. All right, guys, have a beautiful weekend. I'll see you later. Bye, guys.